Hi, I'm Ricky, and this is my friend Marshall.
Hi, Ricky.
He's a stepdad, and today we're going to get to know him a little bit better. Hashtag a stepmom and a hypnotist walk into a room. So, hi, Marshall. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, listener, I've known Marshall for a while, but in true Erica fashion, and also my fear is that I haven't led with my most enthusiastic foot in our acquaintanceship. And so, in case you ever thought I was a bitch, I'm totally not. I'm very friendly, and I think you and your wife are delightful.
I never thought that.
Oh, I'd love to hear it. Hear that, guys? So, we want to talk about you being a stepdad here at Stepmoms. We think it's interesting when people have different family dynamic stories. For instance, my husband is a million years older than me, and his kids are closer. He is. His
I
kids.
hear he has a whole lot less followers on his podcast, too.
He sure does, but we try. Another guest that we had who you're familiar with, he is much younger than his wife, Step Zaddy, without children was the name of his episode. We had Mike Pico on, and he talked about when he met Tina. And so just to give you like the vibe of what we're interested in here at Stepmoms. So I just want to start and get into it. Tell us about how you met Dawn, our cutie Dawn.
I don't know if that's for public consumption.
Oh, geez, a scandal.
I wouldn't call it a scandal. I would
Wishful
just
thinking.
say it was probably not in an orthodox
Mm-hmm.
fashion for people of our age group, let's say.
Oh, that's weird. That's fine. So I went to Marshall and Dawn's wedding, you guys, and it was so cute. But I did sit with Dawn's kids. And so while I am a very fun stepmom who's closer in age with my kids than my husband, what was it like? You got married, you had your wonderful wedding, and then you went home to your new house with teenagers and young adults. What's that like?
Well, she does have 4. Only one is at the house, though, but that
Okay.
was the youngest one,
Uh-huh.
the teenage daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So not having any kids of my own, this was definitely a new experience. The
Uh-huh.
3 older boys, actually he was a teenager
Uh-huh.
when we met, but was still in high school, but living with his dad, and the
Right.
other 2 were living with their dad also out in the
Mhm.
working world.
That's wonderful. And so you have 2 new roommates, 2 new roomies, a teenage girl and a smoking hot wife, and you came with your puppy. And so you're with 3 ladies in the house.
4. There's a cat
4.
too.
Oh, there's a
The
cat
cat, yeah,
too.
female.
Yikes. What's
Yeah.
that like? How different is that from your life before that?
Never had a cat beyond the time I was about 6 or 7. That was my concern, was about how the cat and the dog were going
Yeah.
to get along, and
That's tricky.
yeah, they still really don't. So it's been a few years. They still really don't. But the cat is very jumpy anyway.
Oh.
So I don't think it was ever going to work out. I think the only time that can actually work out is if they are raised together.
Oh yeah. I mean, my favorite brand of social media is videos of animals that are like complete opposites that end up being best friends, like dogs who are best friends with squirrels and like ducks who are best friends with like babies. Those are my jam.
Yeah, they get all the views and likes and all that kind of stuff, and then we do actual work on shows and have a hard time getting it to follow.
Literally, because we're too busy looking at like cute babies hanging out with their like parrot sister. Can you tell me about what life was like before you were married? Listener, and this is like no shade or no anything. Marshall is older than me and older than Matt. And so I imagine you have stories, you have things that have happened. And so like, was your life career focused, creatively focused? Were you only focused on finding a companionship or a wife? Like, what's your marker for success in that way?
So I don't think I was really in the market for a wife as I got older.
Love that.
I'm 62 now. We've been married 2.5 years. Going out in April will be 5 years or 6. 5 or 6. That might be 6. So what was my life like? So there's a long period of time prior to getting married. There's a lot of stories.
Is there a lot of girlfriends?
I dated. I actually went for a period of time where I had one date, a 5-year period of time when I was starting my business, a business where I thought I was going to meet a whole lot of women, right? Because I was doing an independent television project. I said, oh, I'm going to meet all sorts of women now.
Yeah.
And I'm so busy, I didn't have any time anyway. And then kind of found out that I was pretty okay with myself. I'm actually a recovering alcoholic and addict over 30 years. So,
okay. We've talked about sober curiosity, which is a hot topic right now. And so we're all familiar.
So, the first year of my sober life, it was kind of suggested that I didn't date. And while that might have been a little challenging at first, I got comfortable with that. So whether I had anybody in my life or not, it was really just icing on the cake more than anything else. And then met Dawn, and
ended up being the best freaking thing.
Yeah, everything meshed really well. And a couple of years later, we were married.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Very cool.
I love that you met Dawn. So, moral of the stories, guys, focus on life, build your businesses. You don't need a man or a woman. Just, it'll come when it comes. That's the lesson. It'll come when it comes.
Absolutely.
That's love
exactly what happened.
That's wonderful. So I have always wondered this, Marshall, where do you hail from? Are you from here or are you from another state?
I was raised in northern Jersey, but I've been down here. I graduated high school here actually in late 70s. But I was only here a short period of time. But I went back to New Jersey, came back here, lived here full time since 86. So I'm pretty much a Delawarean now, I guess.
Yeah. I've been here for 10 years. My anniversary was in July, and I still tell people, I just moved here.
Yeah. Where'd you come from?
Massachusetts.
Okay.
Most of our listeners are in Massachusetts.
Okay.
I haven't made that much of a name for myself here in Delaware, Pennsylvania, but that's fine. Massachusetts welcomes Marshall.
Massachusetts.
Yeah. So I did wonder, I mentioned it in a Jason Bateman-esque question where I asked like 3 questions at once a little earlier. What is like your marker for success? Like you said that you kind of like had like dating on kind of like a whatever, if it happens, it happens type of vibe. Like, has your life been mostly trying to be successful at real estate or your other creative ventures or what?
So I measure success a little differently. Some people have financial goals. Well, I probably should because I don't have enough to retire. Probably will never be able to retire. I have to work until the end. So I should probably readjust those goals.
Oh, geez.
Sometimes I would have an idea in mind and I wanted to see it materialize and manifest. And once it did, then I would consider that a success. And if anywhere along the line, somebody said I couldn't do what I was going to do, then I needed to do it. And when I completed it and the person who told me I couldn't do what I was going to do found out, then that was a success for me.
Oh, let the haters be your motivators.
Right, exactly.
Exactly that. And so you guys, Marshall is super creative, and I've mentioned the word creative a couple times, and so I'm going to let you guys know, listener, he's a stage hypnotist and mentalist, and I think that that is so freaking cool. And so I hope you guys follow him on social media because then you'll get what I mean. But so from where I sit, I can see him on social media going to different campuses, going to like corporate events, and hypnotizing people. And I've been to a show and there's people barking like dogs and pretend fishing and sleeping and doing all of these like crazy things. But tell me about like how you got into this. Like this is a niche market, Marshall.
It is. I was introduced to it when I was a kid by my father. My mother taught me sports. My father taught me all sorts of weird stuff. And I wasn't a good athlete, so I ended up doing all the weird stuff. And had a back burner interest in it for quite some time. And then, I don't know, about 20 years or so ago, decided I want to add something else to do with myself and decided that I wanted to hit the stage with a comedy hypnosis show. And it became one of those things that people said I was crazy. I was crazy because I was in my 40s and I was going to try to become an entertainer. And
let your haters be your motivators.
Yeah, I'm very big on visualizing your success and whatever it might be. But sometimes visions come to me, not hallucinations, and I'm nothing crazy like that. But when I had this thought about becoming a stage hypnotist, I saw myself performing in Las Vegas.
Ooh.
And people told me I was crazy, but like a year later, I actually did my first show in Las Vegas. I did Atlantic City before that. So I kind of lost my train of thought there. But
so that's how you got into it.
Unfortunately, though, when the recession hit, I was
Mhm.
doing this, and because
Oh,
the rest of my business all fell apart.
okay.
And fortunately, I was able to make this one of my main ways of
Uh-huh.
earning a living.
What was your first business or your other businesses?
I produce an independent local television show. It's called Delaware Sports.
Mhm.
That
We love
got
that.
That's what got destroyed in the Great Recession. Just
Mhm.
got started doing it again a couple years ago online, more as a
Mhm.
hobby than anything else, so I can I don't know, just do positive things
Yeah.
and talk about the positive achievements of amateur athletes in our community and even
Mhm.
beyond. 'Cause now, with the way this is all set up online and be able to stream in a
Mhm.
very cost-effective manner, I can
Mhm.
talk to kids and coaches all around the country, and then I
Mhm.
perform all around the country, so I can tie the two in,
Right.
and that's kind of where I go
That's
by
cool.
doing that.
You were in Vegas doing stage hypnotism, and then the recession hit, and then what happened?
Well, I didn't have like a set show in Vegas. I have
Okay.
performed in Vegas. I perform
Okay.
all around the country. But when
Right.
the Great Recession hit, I was getting ready to sell my other business, and then it got destroyed, and wiped me out. I mean, a lot of other people too.
Of course.
And it was something I had built from the ground up. It was getting ready to sell it, and then all of a sudden it was worthless. Thankfully, I was doing the hypnosis shows, and
Mhm.
even during bad times, people want to be entertained.
Yeah.
Except for during the COVID years, I had to do
Nobody wanted to be entertained in
well,
these
they wanted
streets.
to, so the only way to do so was, like, do underground shows. I was doing underground shows, right? Where people said, "Look, we want you to come do a show, but you can't tell anybody that you're going to be doing it."
Right,
Right?
and bring a mask.
Yeah. No, those people didn't care. Those
Oh,
people
right,
really
right, right,
didn't
right,
care
right,
about
of course, the undergrounds.
yeah, they were all underground. So, I felt like it had to feel like it was during the prohibition years of
Oh my god, it's giving
that time.
speakeasy.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was hypnotize easy back then, one of those kind of things, you know?
Love that.
What's cool about it is that,
Uh-huh.
just to tie it in with my wife and all is that,
Right.
she can come with me and,
I see those, and you guys are hanging out in the desert. I think that's so cool.
yeah.
I love seeing your pictures of you guys hanging out, you and Sasha too. Sasha's his dog.
A doggy. Yeah.
I love that. And so, like, also just to talk about Sasha for a second, because we love an animal here at Stepmoms. So she's just your traveling companion.
She hasn't traveled with me in a while, which is unfortunate.
Oh.
She's getting a little older.
Mhm.
So we are talking about Sasha, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I just said she's getting older. I don't wanna
Right, right, right.
make sure I wasn't referring to
Still
my
talking
wife
about puppies.
right there. She has been pretty well traveled.
Mhm. I love that. And so back to Dawn.
Mhm.
Traveling with her is the best?
Yeah, it's very cool. I have been able to a couple times have been hired for shows in areas which are kind of cool
Mhm.
and have been able to bring her along and then
Mhm.
can see the sights and all and hoping to do that in May here soon too. I'm actually kind of waiting for a phone. If the phone rings, it might be actually one of those situations where I'm like, okay,
That's fine.
yeah, we can go travel and
Yeah.
I'll do a show. So
That's fantastic. Have you been to Massachusetts with your,
I have.
where have you been?
Is it Greenfield
Oh, that's the sticks.
up there? Yeah, on the western side. And
Yeah.
I've
They
been in
have
Boston a couple times.
they have these, like, maps of Massachusetts that'll, like, come out that somebody will make, and so, like, Worcester, which is, like, central Mass and over to the west, it'll say, like, "Dragons be here," because like, we don't know what that is. That's, like, Vermont or something, maybe it's New York, not sure. Pennsylvania? Does it hit? I don't know. For Dawn's life now living with Marshall and Sasha, like, do you think that, like, her life is, like, totally different from whatever her life was before, or is she just, like, rolling with it and she's handling it like normal?
Well, I think the biggest change is the dog actually
Uh-huh.
for her.
Oh,
Well,
is she
because
a
I'm
dog lady?
away, a lot of times I'm away and she
Mm,
has to help out with the dog walker and stuff like that. Feeding is not a big deal, but
right.
walking her. Sasha,
Mhm.
I think likes Dawn more than me. And she
Girl.
likes women more than me. I think she just tolerates me.
That's
because I
terrible.
picked her up as a puppy.
Yeah.
Very, very strange. Very, very strange.
So maybe I should be interviewing Dawn as a stepmom and not Marshall as a stepdad is what it sounds like.
Look, I'm gonna tell you that just to get on that subject, I've been very, very blessed. Dawn's daughter is incredible. She just turned 18 in October.
Oh goodness.
First car. She's like an A student. She works. She got her first part-time job.
I remember
last summer, and she's still there. She never misses
Chick-fil-A or something.
Yeah,
Or maybe
exactly. Yep.
That's wonderful. And
Still
Chick-fil-A people, they're real polite, good kids that work there.
Yeah.
So well, that tracks.
She's a cheerleader. So she's practicing all the time.
She's a busy girl.
Doesn't miss anything. She's got into a couple colleges. She hasn't made her choice yet, but
that's fantastic.
She's a real good kid. Yeah.
You got blessed with a good family.
Yeah. Very lucky.
The boys were out of the house, and you just had to deal with a polite, respectful, athletic teenage girl that just has to go to work sometimes.
Yeah, and the guys are cool too. I mean, we see them on holidays and all. They're gentlemen, and
I remember one of them worked with you, maybe with real estate.
One of them worked at a company where I had worked. He works at a company where I had worked a long time ago.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he had.
They're like adults.
Knew some stories about me before I met his mother.
Oh, was that awkward?
I don't know.
Not for me.
I know these guys I used to work with. Though, they're just a bunch of guys, and we
guys.
Yeah, the guys, and
geez.
how we would joke around with each other, and I can only imagine the kind of things that they
not your past life coming up to creep up on you.
Yeah, a little bit. One of them is going to be a pastor.
Not a pastor. Is that pressure to be like well behaved?
He's going to be a pastor. Then the one guy he was in the military. He's done now, and the other one's managing a store. They're all good kids. Yeah. I got life easy.
You really did.
We're looking for like a train wreck story here.
I wasn't looking for a train wreck because I feel like Dawn is like such a delight that her kids could not be assholes that much.
No, definitely not.
Love to hear it. I'm over here like still like playing grandma. I'm a whole grandma.
Really?
That's what it is. It's a thing. It's fine.
It's a thing.
It's weird. So there's baby number 2's on the way. Matt the 3rd.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So obviously my husband's super into that. But the baby's coming in June. So I'm gonna have 2 grandkids, and that's fun. And so this is a story for the listener who follows along with my life, and just like a story to show you what the other side's like, Marshall. I'm going on vacation to a graduation party in Massachusetts. The baby is due when I get back, like immediately after I get back. There's drama over we're going to be gone for that time. And how could you be gone? Because the baby's finna be born. And I'm like, I'll be there after when I get back, first stop. Hey. And so that's drama.
Yeah. I don't see now. There are no grandkids in the picture at this time.
Very easily that could be in 9 months from now, Marshall.
It could. Now we'll have to revisit if and when that does happen.
Yeah.
Because I've never held a baby in my life.
What on earth?
Yeah. So I don't know how that would go. And because that's the case, that the way I deal with kids is like I talk to them like adults, right? So
hey baby, how you doing?
I have like a different kind of relationship when I deal with kids. I've coached kids before. I deal with them in my sports business and all. I just talk to them like I talk to anybody else. I think they like that, but I don't know how it's going to go over with like a babbling 3-month-old.
Yeah.
Like, hey, dude, what's up?
Right. And so let's just pretend that there's one of your stepsons. Hold on. Let me back up. Let's skirt. So do you identify as a stepdad?
Well, I am. Yeah.
But do you say like, oh, that's my stepdaughter? I'm picking up my stepdaughter from work.
I don't know that I've had those kind of opportunities to address her in that way. Although I had to pick her up from school one time, once or twice.
Did you have to like talk to an office? You just like pulled up to the curb?
Yeah, I had to go to the office. I can't remember how I addressed her. I would have had to have said stepdaughter.
You didn't like write it in your diary? I would have like harped on it forever. I had to say stepmom today, guys.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of matter of fact. I didn't dwell on it one way or another.
Yeah. And then with the boys, have you ever said like my stepsons, like when you were, I'm sure connecting with the job, was it like, oh yeah, my wife's kid wants to work here or something? Or is it like my stepson so-and-so?
I don't think I've ever thought of them as stepson. I might have thought of them as stepson. I don't think that's the words have come out of my mouth though.
Right.
Because I don't really know how that, I guess legally I am, but they're all adults now, right? So how does that even work?
So that's literally the whole point of this show is how the fuck and how and why and me? It's me that's the stepmom? That's crazy. And so I have a co-host, Becky, who's just not here today, but she has, the dynamic is a little bit different. She has a almost 21-year-old stepson, but it's always been established like he has a mom, like you don't have to like be a parent to this person, but also they like live in the same house. And so it's like, I don't, because we live in the same house. So there's that dynamic. And then my dynamic where my younger stepson, Ryan, is on the autism spectrum. And so there's still the custody and the weekend dad stuff and feeding him and making sure that he's cared for and school and graduations and things like that. And so that's why this podcast exists. Because me, a parent, is that okay? Do I have to ask somebody?
Now, you see, it might come up with the older one if I was to go visit his place of work where I had worked a long time ago, but it might come up in a joking way, like if I called up to just make sure that my son is behaving himself or something like that over there.
Even that sounds weird when you say it.
Ask for my son. It would be kind of funny, I imagine, but that would be the context. I don't think if we were out somewhere, I don't know, have a lunch, ran into somebody, I don't think I would introduce him as my stepson. Like he was like 26 or something when we got married.
I think what's his face?
It would be definitely more in a joking manner.
Yeah, that's literally, Marshall, why this exists. Like I have people who'll comment and leave reviews. There's a review right now on Apple Music that they're like, thank you. Finally, like there's people talking about being a step parent because it is a weird thing, especially when you don't already have your own kids. Because are those my kids? Am I a parent? I don't think so. Probably not.
Yeah, I'm just happy all that hard stuff is out of the way. Although it is little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems.
Yeah. Things like
problems. It's been great.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah. You got a well-behaved teenage girl and then grown-ups.
Yes.
Let's pretend that the oldest is like, guys, I have a girlfriend. Also, she's pregnant. And then so we're dealing with that and there's emotions and Dawn will have her emotions and then his father will have emotions and it'll all be a thing. And then the baby will come and everybody will be happy. I know this because I've experienced it in my life in different ways. And then the baby comes out and then Dawn is grandma, mom, G-mom, whatever she's going to be called. And then the grandpa is grandpa, pop, whatever he's going to be called. And then there's Marshall. Who's Marshall to this baby? Just Marshall? Marsh?
No, I would imagine at that point it would definitely be grandpa also. Right.
Has this been a conversation before?
No, but I can just see that as a totally different dynamic. Right. I don't know if it would be confusing at all. It's normal to have a couple grandparents. Right?
Yeah. Well, now it is. I mean, for me, I was like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah. So what's another one? Right. Okay. I got two grandpas.
Yeah.
Would have anyway.
So, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a new normal thing now, having all kinds of things. In my family, the baby calls Matt Pop, and she calls me Lolly. And so we're Lolly and Pop.
Okay.
And so that's like a cute thing. And also there's a candy store named Lolly and Pops. And so when we have her, we go to said candy store. And if they sold merch, I would 100% buy a hoodie. Or maybe I'll make one. Or maybe you can make me one.
Possibly.
Yeah. What were we going to say?
Come up with a totally different name.
Matt originally wanted to be like fucking Wolf Snake or some fucking bullshit.
Exactly. Something like that. That would be good.
Okay. Dragon Slayer.
Yeah. Anything like that would be funny. That's why Matt and I get along. Because we think along the same lines like that.
Ridiculous lines?
Yes.
You, Matt, and Mike.
Abstract. I would
air quotes.
I would call it. Yes.
Are you Italian?
I am not Italian. No.
Are you like Norse?
I am actually half Ukrainian. The other half is the English, Irish.
So for the listener, just a quick anecdote. Marshall has fantastic hair with the most fantastic shade of blonde that does not come from a box. I've observed this for my entire friendship with Marshall. There was a weird period in the beginning, but post-COVID, he did a slick back with a perfect like piece that would fall out in the front. Wedding hair was 20 out of 10 would recommend.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
As you got older and you were dating or like looking for, I don't know, companionship.
Loving all the wrong places. Yeah.
Yes. Did you like come to terms already and just like accept that whoever you found would have kids? And was that like an eye roll, or it was like, that's fine, I guess?
Okay. So I guess that's a good question. Did I come to terms with it? There was never a surprise if somebody had kids, right?
You weren't like swiping left, like, oh, surprise, she has kids. I didn't expect that.
I did a lot of online dating, and started really like in my mid 30s. It was like Match.com and all. So I actually have a lot of stories about all that kind of stuff. But one in particular, since you talk about like amount of kids, I actually had somebody lie to me about how many kids they had.
What the hell?
Which I didn't find out until we actually met. Instead of the 2 that she told me she had, she lays out the fact that she has 5 kids.
She breaks out the wallet and the pictures all fall.
She tells me she has 5 because we're getting along so well. She says,
right.
She says, oh, then I didn't think you would mind since we're getting along so well, and you like my personality and all.
Girl, we wouldn't have gotten this far.
A few extra kids shouldn't make a difference, right? But it did, because part of her personality is that she's a liar. That's how she met. That's how she ended up meeting me, right? It came to terms with the fact that I came to terms with the fact a lot of people are going to lie to me. That was one thing.
You're like, all right, this is a flag I evidently need to watch out for.
People are either going to have them or they weren't, and just hopefully, if they had them, I was more concerned about real young kids, though.
Right.
Because, the older I got, the older I wanted the kids to be. So
yeah, the more empty nester you wanted to eventually be with your new bride.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But like, that's things like you have to think about if you're an older person. I always say, if in case Matt dies, I'm going to be single forever. I'm not trying to meet somebody. I'm not trying to get duped. I'm not trying to take care of anybody else's kids. Not me. Nope. Thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything that you want to tell the listeners about anything?
I would say this. I wouldn't fear the possibility that you get into a relationship that you're going to find there will be kids involved. Certainly there's going to be, we've all heard the stories about those potential nightmares, but I'm living proof that it is possible to find yourself in a situation where it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Don't
be afraid.
For now, anyway. We know how things go.
There might be pop drama down the line. We don't know. Yeah. Knock on wood, though.
Pop. It'll be, I don't know. It'll be something creative. I might go with Santa.
Not Santa. Oh, because you are a Christmas enthusiast.
I might go with Santa.
What if it ends up calling you like Pop Santa?
And when the kids like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, whenever they figure out that everyone else figures out that Santa's not real,
right?
My grandkid will say, "Yeah, Santa's real. He's at home." Because he's been calling me Santa all his life.
Yeah, and maybe by that time you'll have like more white hairs, and he'll be like, "Whoa." I would love that for you.
We'll see how that all unfolds. Hopefully in my favor some way.
Right. All the good vibes.
It's destined to happen. Whatever it is.
Ooh, I love that. I love a destiny. You guys, thank you for listening. If you like us, then probably your friends will too. So make sure you rate, follow, and share us on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. If you're looking for me, I'm on Instagram finally as Stepmoms Without Children. And if you're looking for Marshall, go to Facebook and look for Marshall Manlove Stage Hypnotist. That's Marshall with one L.